Good morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is May 30th. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing good. This market, it's really something special here when these moves happen at the end of the day. So in the morning, we had a bounce. We got the bounce. Um, we started to move up. We filled the gap. Tried to we moved sideways for hours and hours and hours, and then pushed all the way up to the highs before slamming down into the close and making new lows. So very interesting with the yields continuing to rise. Um, that's what's been going on in the markets. Now this morning we're gapping down. Okay, gapping down off the lows in the overnight, and the story right now is really the bonds are being bought today, so the yield should go down a little bit. We're at key levels in ES and SPY. Okay, so expecting a bounce there, which we're getting. Now we have to see how this all pans out. Now 8:30 we have jobless claims and we have GDP, so that should move the market a little bit. We'll see about that. Obviously, a higher jobless claims number would be bullish. That would mean cuts coming from the Fed. So we'll have to see what goes on with that. All right, we'll talk about news. We'll talk about the daily charts. Talk about structure. We'll talk about leaders and laggards, why things are moving, why things are not moving. All that's coming up. Now, without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the markets, along with gapping exposure levels, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, the previous day, all to help me find structure. All to help me find structure in these markets. Okay, so every day I do this at 8:10 a.m. and then basically go over news, go over watch lists. Then we dip into new economic calendar news, like I said, leaders and laggards. Go over maybe possible upgrades, downgrades, and then we'll go into about 8:30. I go into scenarios for the ES and the Nasdaq. All right, so scenarios for going short, going long, and analyze the market in real time with you guys. So hopefully you get something out of this. Obviously, if you don't understand what I'm doing, please give me a comment. Put it in the chat. I'll try to answer it. Okay. If this is your first time, welcome. Subscribe if you haven't already. Set an alert. Okay. If you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up or a like. That would be much appreciated. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay. And what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna go right into the futures watch list, see what's going on in the markets. Okay. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 1.16%. Okay. What do we have next? The VIX. The VIX is creeping up to 15. I said we got to get over 15 and hold it in order to get some more fear. But we were at 11, so we're up a percent again. 30-year bonds are being bought. Right? 30-year bonds are being bought. So yields have risen to 4.6 yield in the 10-year. So people start taking some buying bonds, right? So Russell is up 0.2. Interesting. Now, mainly probably because yields have gone lower a little bit because the Russell's very rate sensitive. Okay, 10-year yield, we'll see that number at 820. Ether is pretty much flat. The dollar is down 0.16. Nasdaq's down 0.27. ES down 0.38. Gold's down 0.39. Crude is pulling back. Okay, crude is on a run. Had some selling yesterday. Cruise around a key level, right? If we start getting some selling, we can go all the way back down to the lows. All right. Dow is down 0.87. Now, the reason for the Dow being down so much is because Salesforce did not have good earnings, did not have good guidance, I believe. They're down 15.69% pre-market. Okay. Silver is down 3.16. That's the volatile metal. All right. That's the volatile metal. All right. Moving on to the watch, Mag 7 Plus here. Leading the pack, Tesla. Tesla is up 1.63%. AMD is up 1.42%. All right. Uh, Boeing's up 0.47, Coinbase up 0.19, Apple's up 0.06, Netflix is flat, JP Morgan flat. All right, let's get into the real laggards here. We have Baba down 0.28, Nvidia is down 0.49, which I don't really expect that to be staying that way, but we'll see. Snow down 0.57%, and Microsoft is down 1%. Interesting, Microsoft down 1%. Maybe there's some news here we could see. Let's see, AMD, Broadcom, Cisco, Google, HPE, Intel, Meta, Microsoft established, UA Link promoted, Group to enhance data. All right, well, let's move on. Top sector stocks. All right, so Costco, did they report yet? Let's see. They report today after the market close. So they're getting a little love. Costco just always keeps going up, it seems. There's not much leaders here. Eli Lilly, McDonald's is getting beaten down. All right. Let's see here. Qualcomm's down 0.46. Now, interesting. What I like, and full transparency here, I did put a bull call spread on AMD yesterday, and what I like is semis is down and AMD is up 1.43%. I don't know why, but I'm liking it. Because look, semis, we'll get to the sectors, are down. So, United Healthcare has talked about medical costs again. Okay, now I am interested in nibbling. All right, obviously anything I'm saying is not financial advice. Okay, so not a financial advice. Do not take what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm gonna do, possibly. All right, we're a key support in United Healthcare. All right, so they have these. They keep talking about these medical costs. So it's been sending healthcare sector down. All right, Home Depot down 0.69%. That's, you look at that chart, that's been pretty weak. Salesforce, there's the big loser, down 15.65%. Let's go to my swing trade list, and who do we have leading? Burlington Coat Factories. That is up 13.3% for the earnings. AI up 11.62. BBY, is that Bed Bath Beyond, or is that Best Buy? I can't remember. Anyway, that's up 4.73%. Let me just, Best Buy. It's Best Buy. All right. What is this? DG Dollar. I think that's Dollar General. That's up 3.22. PayPal up 2.56. So Palantir up 2.48. ISRG up 1.91. Datadog up 1.23. Dell up 1.14. Dollar Tree up 1.08. Bitcoin ETF. All right, so let's see the laggards here. Woo, woo. Is that Coles? I can't remember. Sometimes I can't remember these tickers. I believe that's Coles. They're down 23.34%. Okay. ServiceNow is down 3.69. Nordstrom down 3.35. Macy's down 2.58. So retail taking a hit. Oracle down 2.26. AMC down 2%. GameStop down 1.88. Adobe's reporting this week. They are down 1.6. Let's see when they report. They report 6/13. Okay. I got a bunch down here. Let's go back up here. Go back to the top sectors, and we'll move on to sectors. You'll see what I mean about semis. Okay. Financials. There's no leader. So you got healthcare. You got semis down 0.25. Not terrible. But what I like is the relative strength in AMD is powering through here. I'd like to see it over 167.5. XLK. It's even interesting, right? Because XLK has semis in it, and it's down 0.87%. So that's the laggard. Why? Microsoft, Nvidia. Okay, Microsoft, Nvidia. When they're down, you're going to see that down. Okay, that's the largest sector in the S&P. It's the largest weight. It's about 29% of the S&P. So wherever XLK goes is usually where the market goes. Okay, that's the watch list for this morning. We can move over to news, economic calendar. All right, let's do that because we do have stuff coming out. Okay, we do have stuff coming out. Now, at 8:30 today, we have GDP. Let's see. Looks like GDP growth quarter over quarter. Let's see here. It's looking at previous 3.4, forecast 1.6, or consensus 1.3. Initial jobless claims. All right, we're looking at 218. All right. So if it gets hotter than that, that's bullish. We got pending home sales at 10 a.m. Pending home sales at 10 a.m. Crude inventories at 11 a.m. Then we got Fed speak. Fed Williams at 12:05. Fed Logan at 5 p.m. So 8:30, we'll see. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for any kind of movement, any kind of volatility. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to the juice here. Now it just says here, looking at the juice, it says Fed Beige Book overall outlooks grew somewhat more pessimistic amid reports of rising uncertainty and greater downside risks. Let's see here. Stocks dropped ahead of incoming U.S. price data. A slide in bonds dragged down stocks as another week of sale of treasuries raised concerns that funding the U.S. deficit will drive up yields at the time when the Federal Reserve is in no rush to cut rates. Okay? So we'll just have to see what happens here. Okay? Now, looking into other news. Boom. Salesforce slumped, unveiled current quarter guidance that fell short of analyst estimates. Walt Disney stock fell 0.1 after CNBC reported that activist investor Nelson Peltz has offloaded his entire stake in the entertainment giant, raking in roughly $1 billion. All right, Moderna stock rose 2.9 following a Financial Times report that said the U.S. government is nearing an agreement to fund late-stage trial of a drug maker's pandemic bird flu vaccine. Foot Locker stock rose over 13%. Interest Dollar General stock rose 4%. Kohl's stock slipped 20% after the department store chain reported an unexpected first quarter loss and issued a 2025 profit warning. Woof. Kohl's. American Outfitters stock fell 6.8. So retailers are getting hurt. They're really getting hurt. That's it. Hormel Foods. Let's see what it did. Stock rose 0.9. Okay. All right. Let's see upgrades and downgrades. All right. Let's look at those together. Upgrades. We got AI. Got an upgrade. That's why it's moving. Datadog. That's why it's moving. Upgrade. Okay. PayPal. Upgrade. That's why it's moving. Downgrades. Let's go to the downgrades here. Kava got a downgrade. First Solar got a downgrade. All right. And I'm just looking at movers that we all recognize. Coverage initiated here. Abbott Labs at a buy. There's a lot of them here. I'm only going to go over AstraZeneca at a buy. Baxter at neutral. Let's see, Boston Scientific at a buy. CVS Health neutral. Like I said, I'm only going to go over the ones at ASRG at a buy. Medtronic sell, interesting. Stryker neutral. Tandem Diabetes a buy. United Healthcare, interesting. United Healthcare at an outperform rating with a price target of 597, even with the negative news. Johnson & Johnson coverage resumed neutral 160. Okay, that I think will conclude that stuff. All right, now we can move over to our daily charts. Let's do that. Daily charts coming up. Bam. Okay, so if you look at my chart, express chart, if you're new, what I love about this chart is I have monthly, weeklies on here. Orange is last week's highs and lows. Whites are the previous month's highs and lows. Okay, very important. So if you look at last week's highs and lows, where are we now in the SPY? We came close to last week's lows and last month's highs. Okay, broke the downtrend, uptrend. I'm sorry. Where are we now? 523, around 524. So look, like right here. This is a very key level for the SPY to have support. Okay, SPY can definitely have support here. So I think that's going to be the level to watch today. 524. Can we stick and hold and then start to work our way back up? I don't know, right? But that's really what I'm seeing here, right around this level here. Of course, if you rip down, you got the 20 simple moving average here at 522. Okay. Now yields are rising, but today, absolutely look at the 10-year yield. It is down. 10-year yield is down 0.65%. Like I said, 30-year bonds are being bought. Bonds are being bought, which is going to lower yields. Now that could spark a little momentum move back up in the market, right? And the dollar is also down. Now at 8:30, we have news coming out with GDP and jobless claims. So we'll see if that moves it. Okay, let's look at the futures to see where we're really at here. Now look at that. I want to show you this. So this is this is the Nasdaq futures. Hold on. Look at the ES. All right, now in the futures, that's last week's lows. It's underneath last week's lows in futures. It's hitting the 20-day simple moving average in futures. Okay, so you can see here in futures, it just needs to get up here inside last week's lows to start to make a move back up. But if it holds down here, that's bearish, and we could possibly fall down to here to 50-day moving average 52.17. We'll have to see. Okay, let's look at the Qs. Qs are relatively strong. Now, why Nvidia? Okay, so you can see, whoop, all the way up to 460.58. We were no threat of last week's lows at all yesterday. Look at that, holding this uptrend. 90 EMA daily right here. Okay, but where are we now? 455. We're at 450. Oh boy, 455.15. We're right at yesterday's lows. And trust me, when you look at the futures, you're going to see the big buying excess here. Okay, people are buying that dip pre-market. All right, let's look at the futures, and you will see the excess put in. Look at that. Woo. Let's get a little closer. Let's get closer in here. You can see that excess here. Look at that. Came down here. Didn't even touch last week's lows, last month's highs, and look at that, ripping right back up. Now, my little theory on this is, like I said, Nvidia has a 10-to-1 split coming up, and I believe that's June 6th or 7th. Let me make sure of that before I'm not making that up. Split on 6/10, June 10th. Okay, that means that you can buy 10 shares right now and you'll own 100 at June 10th. Okay, and you just divide whatever the share price is now by 10. That's how many shares you'll have. If you buy 10 now, you'll have 100 at that price. So we're at 1141 right now. So, 100 and, I don't know, 1,500, something like that, dollars, you'll have 100 shares. Okay, I think it's going to keep getting bid up, and when it splits, I could see maybe some profit taking. Okay, that's just a theory, because look at this. That buying excess now is almost like, okay, well, sellers are on their back foots now. We'll have to see, because the Nasdaq's relatively strong. Okay, that was your daily charts. All right, now we're going to look at triple-headed monster, and I've been talking about the 10-year yield, right? I said, well, if it gets over this 4.5, I said, well, look out, because look at this, wham, That fell like a rock, the yields, right? And then we've been in an uptrend. And then recently, look at this. We've been in a little downtrend, but look, overall, the trend is higher. Put a trend line on this, right? If you put a trend line on this, well, that's not really, it broke the trend there. But if you do this, really higher low, higher low, higher low, right? This is still a higher low. And then now it's rising, right? Next move is up to 4.7 yield. Now, today, we are oh, lower because it closed here and we're lower today. People are buying bonds, right? So if we start to go like this again, you can get a little bump up in the markets. We'll have to see though. This definitely is weighing on the Russell. It weighs on the Russell more. Okay, so let's look at that. The dollar. You need that dollar, you know, really to. Dollar's getting weak today. Okay, hit this resistance at 105.12, pulling back. Now the weaker dollar helps the market, helps commodities. Okay, so that's why I call it the triple-headed monster. If you have a VIX like today, the VIX has been rising, but the VIX starts going down to 13, to 12, 11, dollar starts falling, yields start falling a little bit, we're going to get another bounce probably up in the markets. Okay, we just have to see. Okay, now VIX, the VIX, look at that. Look at that, almost reached 15, pulling back now. Pulling back now. Okay, this is 30 days out of fear. Okay, look at that, right at the 200-day moving average. Can back this out. 200-day moving average. It's not there now, it's here. So it's pulling back. But, you know, we have moved down in the S&P 500. So, like I said though, you need to really hold above 15 to get some volatility back. Well, we have very good volume this morning too. I'm loving it. Volume's back for right now. All right, so it's around that time. We're getting into structure, market profile, volume profile. Let's do it. Okay. Hopefully everybody understands when I show you these charts and they don't look like hieroglyphics. I don't even know if I said that right. Hieroglyphics. Boom. There we are. This is my baby. The way the chart's set up. All right. Let's make this a little smaller. Let's go right in here. Let's go right in here. Look at structure. Look at what's been going on. Oh, here's the ES. All right. ES futures. Okay, and you can see we came all the way down here. Price is right here right now at 52.70. Okay, this is the overnight session. Pretty balanced. Pretty balanced. All right. One thing to note. Here's the open of the overnight. Guess what? 100% net short. But that's kind of negated now as an edge because look, sellers, and this is the most traded price, we're above, and the supply zone is busted now. Okay, so the sellers ran out of steam here. Okay, so if you look at the profile, still got values up here. Okay, biggest price to look at, I said 52.23. That is the most traded price of the month and of the week. We are below it, so structurally this market is weak. Okay, but this market, the volume profile, needs to establish value here. If it can't, it's going to revert back to value. Okay, now let's look at this. We are gapping down. Okay, this kind of like undercut move here, undercutted the day basically of the Nvidia, a day after the Nvidia earnings. Okay, need to get back over that. So what do we have here? We have right here is the gap fill. Also happens to be overnight high. That becomes a weak high because you got the close overnight high. Okay. So if we pop up here, right? If you close, that means people are short the market at the close. You know, if you start to pop up, boom, right? Boom. Okay, so got some hurdles here for the buyers. Got to get gap fill. Next thing is the most traded price of yesterday, 52.88. You'd want to see the market fill the gap, push above that, break that supply, maybe come back, and then can go higher back to value. Okay. If it can't, say we go into here, hit the supply, and can't get over the most traded price of yesterday and start doing this, well, then we could possibly roll over. All right, that's what I'm seeing right now in this market. Okay, but this is very important. We're not at the lows anymore. Okay, we're not at the lows anymore. This would be beautiful if we opened and we're down here, 100% net short. Okay, like I said, let's go over really quickly let's go over our gap rules, but then let's just go over all our scenarios today for the ES. Okay, let's go over them. Okay, if I'm in a bull, a couple things I want to see here. We got demand zones. This was formed overnight. This is an old demand zone. Okay, those could be buy points today. Those could be buy points. Anytime Nvidia is pulling back like it is right now, people look at it as a buying opportunity. Like I said, that split is going to play big until June 10th. Okay, now let's go over gap rules. Here's the gap. Here's yesterday's highs. Now, yesterday's high is a poor high. That means that it's a double top. It needs to be corrected eventually. Okay, that's very important. That's very important. There's the week high, also overnight low, also gap fill. All right. Now, the gap is a lot smaller than it was down here. Okay, so how do you tell? How do you play the gap? Well, if we open and we gap and go, obviously that's the most bearish. All right. If we fail to fill the gap and go, that's the second most bearish. If we fill the gap, still bearish and roll over. Okay. However, if you fill the gap and start working yourself into the range of yesterday, that is not so bearish. All right. That means sellers are not strong. So here we go, gap fill. We've got a weak high. All right. We have demand. Now, demand might be here now. Let me just check that. I can split this out and see the session here. All right. So that now this is demand zone's gone. I mean, this supply zone's gone. This is a demand zone now, right here. Okay. So, around the most traded price. All right. So, let's look at this. What do you want to see? Okay. So, two things here. This can move up, so this area needs to be defended. Okay. So here's what I'd like to see. We could push up. Or actually, what I would like to see, honestly, maybe a little push up, but then a push back to here. Test this most traded price of the overnight. Okay. And one, you could defend this, and then we could move higher. Okay. Number two, we get a little more bearish, and we just go straight into this demand zone, one of these demand zones, tap the overnight low. Now, very important here is the anchored VWAP of the month. This is the monthly VWAP here, anchor VWAP of the month. That could be a buy point, 52.46. That right here, if it hits it, higher low, you rip through the overnight price. Then guess what? You go gap fill, and then you're going to test yesterday's most traded price. If you hit that, boom, and you hold and hold, you're going to rip that poor high from yesterday, and we could make ourselves way back up. I don't know if we go all the way back up, but there's a good shot. Okay, that's my bullish case for the market. All right, now bearish case. Okay, let's talk about it now. One, we could just go lower. To me, that doesn't help anybody because I don't really get involved in that. That doesn't have any edge to me. If you just go gap and go, okay, that's a scenario, but we're talking about the trade scenario. Okay, so what can happen here? We can come down here, push back up, hit the gap, fill it, right? Fill it. Then once we start getting resistance, lower highs, that's when you can come through here, test the overnight lows, and really see what happens here. You break that, you're probably going at least to the monthly VWAP or to the end of this demand zone. Of course, you can just rip down. I don't know if that's in the cards, but that's possibly in the cards. Now, the other move, okay, that could happen is it's viable, all right? You could possibly come down here, push all the way up, fill the gap, but then struggle in this supply zone. Now, this most traded price of yesterday, if it fails there, can't establish value acceptance above it, that's also boom, it could just start working its way back down. Okay, it's really all I'm interested in for today in the ES. All right, we're going to move on to the NASDAQ. Alrighty, why don't we go to the NASDAQ? All right, see where we're at here. And the NASDAQ, of course, is not gapping lower anymore. Let's see our profile in the NASDAQ. All right, NASDAQ is not that weak. All right, I want to show you something. This area here, big time lows all through this area here. Guess where the market came down to? Right there. Bottom of this range. Okay, and we've got bought prices right here. Okay, profile is very balanced. Okay, now that we got the excess lower, the market's going back. Okay, important to note, this big level is the most traded price of the month in the market in the NASDAQ, 187.50. Price is above that now. It needs to hold it. If this holds, you're going to visit here, the most traded price of the month, and probably revisit the top of this range. Okay, remember, NASDAQ is relatively stronger. Okay, we're not even gapping anymore. We're inside yesterday's range. Came all the way down here and you're all the way up here now. Okay, so off the bat, right? Off the bat, where's the big level we got to defend? Buyers need to defend this level. That's very, very important. There's a demand zone right below it as well. So this area needs to be defended by the bulls. That's your most high probability edge here. All right, even if we come up, come back down, hit here, you need to find buyers. And then guess what? First destination is the most traded price of yesterday. And then you can try to work yourself up possibly to 189.20. All right. Buyers stepped up in the NASDAQ. All right, we're inside yesterday. In the Qs, we're only down 0.12. Close was here. Okay, now one thing to note. Look at this. The close, this is all short activity. 100% net short has just been erased almost in the NASDAQ. I mean, that is seller shut off right there. Look, you came all the way down here and we're all the way back here above this major level. Okay, that's bullish. All right, so let's get into some scenarios, right? We got yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight highs, overnight lows, okay? Inside yesterday's range, all right? Really is not showing much for sellers in the NASDAQ at all, right? At all. Coinbase is up, Tesla's up 1.6, AMD's up 1.22, Apple's up. It's really not a super weak market right now, all right? It probably was a dip buy. All right, so let's get into this. What do I have to see here? I just said it, but the bulls. needs to defend this area, demand, and a major level, the most traded price of the month. Okay, so what I wanted to see, you got a big supply zone here. This would even be fine with me if we came into this supply, failed, came back here, and really watch. Because if the market does this and then starts establishing value or acceptance above that level, we're probably going to move up, take out this most traded price, hold it, and then you can possibly go to yesterday's highs. And like I said, this level. That's the that's really the most probable trade I'd like. If the market does dip below this, I'm not going to like that as much. You do have demand down here. That could also be, a bear trap here, and then you go back. But I'd like the market to stay above this level for me to give me more confidence. Okay, so that's a bull scenario. Okay, now bearish. Okay, a couple things that could be bearish here. All right, now just remember, these are trades, these are day trades, so you could definitely come down here, boom, get bought up, try to test the most traded price of the week and most traded price of yesterday. This is also a supply zone. You can come up here, hit the week to day VWAP, fail, come back under here. You could roll, right? Definitely test this level again. And it would be up to the market if it buys that dip, like in my bullshit. But if it doesn't and rips down, breaks that demand, holds, break this demand, you can possibly go down to like 186. But like I said, you need to break this level. And you need to see the market weak. All right? That's really what I'm seeing. All right? Now, again, this all matters of what the market looks like when we open. Okay, you definitely got to tell two different markets here. The Nasdaq is inside yesterday's range. ES is the SPY is down to 0.27. The Dow's down 0.78. Remember, the Dow with Salesforce is pushing that market down. Okay, so hope everybody enjoyed that analysis today. I do this every day at 8, 10 a.m. All right. Hopefully, you can come and join me every day. Right? I think it's definitely a one-stop shop. You get all your stuff. Listen to me while you're in your car. Listen to me while you're getting ready for work. Whatever. Right? I would love to have this when I'm trading in the beginning to just sit back and go, oh, all right, that sounds like a good analysis or news or whatever. All right? Use me as an edge. Use me. Okay? Hope everybody has a great day. And I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. All right? Good luck to everybody. Stay patient.